Okay, we're 5 minutes in. Let us start with an auspicious beginning. So we now know word for word, we know what we are meaning when we say these simple mantras that we've heard before. Last week we started with these verses. This week again we can start with these verses by way of revision. So the verses will be the Guru mantra, the Vaishnava mantra, Mahaprabhu's mantra, and which other mantras did we learn? I can't hear you, Govindanandini. You have to unmute.
Sorry, Bhagavad Bhaktita.
Oh, Bhagavad Bhaktita Sarvam. And, oh, didn't we do Kale Dosha, Kale Dosha? Nidhe Rajan. Oh, I have to practice that. Okay, so these 5 verses we've got. So let us say these verses slowly and together with a pause between each one so we can breathe. Because we're not fishes, we can't only take in air. We don't have any gills, only ears. All right, so let's start because it's an auspicious beginning. So first of all, to Guru. Om, so to Guru, together. Om Agyan Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Anmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Then to the Vaishnavas, Vancha Kalpatarubhyas Cha Kripa Sindhu Bhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Then to Mahaprabhu, together. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tvije Namaha. Okay, now Bhagavad Bhaktita Sarvam. Okay, Bhagavad Bhaktita Sarvam Ityutsrijya Vidher Api Kain Karyang Krishna Padai Ashrayatvam Sharanagatihi. Okay, and then Kali Yuga, merciful Lord, giving us the holy name. So, Kale Dosha, together. Kaler Dosha Nidhe Rajang Asti Heka Mahan Gunaha Kirtanad Eva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Param Brajet. Panchatattva Mahamantra. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Shri Gaura Bhaktavrinda Mahamantra. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. And I can just mention something in your own time, if you like, because it's a bit complicated. It's Sanskrit and it's kind of too much to do for a back to basics course. But good to know is if you want to do like complete Vandana in one verse, then you can see the word by word and try to understand the meaning of when we are singing the very first of, or saying the first of the Vandanam prayers, which are in the songbook. This Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pada Kamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavans Cha Shri Rupam Sagraratam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitang Tang Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitan Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitangs Cha. And there you will see the Gurus, the Vaishnavas, Mahaprabhu, Nityananda, their associates, the 6 Goswamis, Radha Krishna, and Radha Krishna's principal associates, the Sakis headed by Lalita. So it is in one verse, we have like a very complete pranam mantra. but we are trying to do light duty, not heavy duty slokas. But it is good to know that. And it's good to try to ourselves cultivate a little bit, because, we can say it very fast, like a parrot, but we want to try to, feel all of these shlokas. And what to speak of Guru Maharaj's pranam mantra, Guru Dev's pranam mantra, all are wonderful. So it is not, we are limited to, just one verse things, to short verses, but we are trying to at least make our basis proper. Okay, last week, why I forget? Oh, because it was a busy day. Last time was a busy day. We didn't get round to completing the reading of Upadeśāmṛta. And we have been going through Upadeśāmṛta. It's something we can go through all our lives, all the time, in fact, because it is very complete, just as we can with the Shikshastakam, etc. But the Upadeśāmṛta, let's come, first of all, let us recite all the verses up until verse 9, and then we'll start more like attentively, verse 9, 10, and 11, the last 3 verses. So the first three verses, about the senses to control, the bad things, the 6 bad things, the 6 good things. So 3 verses giving us guidance of how to behave, what to do. 3 verses, again, how to behave, what to do, but 3 verses about the Vaishnavas. And then that so promising verse about the holy name, just by carefully chanting the holy name every day, our disease goes and joy awakens, Krishna Prema. And then, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's verse 7. Verse 8 is the verse which is telling us the essence of all advice is to remember and chant the glories of the name, qualities, etc. of the Lord. 20, how many hours a day? 25 hours a day. Okay. So let us read those. Do we have in the chat box, perhaps? Maybe you could drop in the chat box, Govinda Nandini, if anyone doesn't have handy, because Dibbi Shakti is in the car. Oh, but she probably knows these verses already. Maybe. Let us, oh, look, I have Nityananda here, which is very wonderful. So do you have in the chat box those 9 verses so far, or all of the verses?
Do you want me to send just like the text or the...
Right, don't we have the text and the translation?
In PDF form, or just like copy and paste though? Or like...
Well, if you have copy and paste, then that's fine. If it's quick, otherwise in PDF form. I do have it here, just in PDF form. I think devotees can pretty much catch it. Oh, find
She already has the verse in Sanskrit.
Well, I have the first one. So should I, I'm just wondering, should I just go through and put all of them in like that?
Let me see what you put in. I've found my version, which has, oh, Vachuvegam. If you like, I have it in PDF right here. I can drop it into the box right now. This is all 11.
All of them, okay.
So it's 34K, it's there already. And so this may be helpful anyway, just to download and keep, because it is the verses as they are. It's from Srila Prabhupada's. So, we've got the 2 translations and 2 illuminations, etc., which is all fine. We can study both, but this one, we are accustomed to, and then for more detail, we can come to the other one. All right, so anyway, whether you have easily or not, I'm not sure, but let us read these ones, because this today is like our full reading of the Upadeśāmṛta. So, Jai Srila Rupa Goswami ki Jai, and actually from the very beginning, we should have given our Jai Srila Gurudev ki Jai, Srila Guru Maharaj ki Jai, Sri Rupanuga Guru Vaga ki Jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Vrinda ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Go. But we have given our obeisances to them through the mantras. All right. So Jai Srila Rupa Goswami ki jai and Sri Upadeśāmṛta ki jai. So let us read actually the English only. And again, homework means we can become a little more used to Vacho Vegam, Manasa Kroda Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udaro Pashta Vegam, Etan Vegan, Yobishaheta Diraha, Savam Apimang, Pritiving Sa Shishya can teach the whole world. Let's read the English. So we read the English together. A sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the actions of anger, and the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals, is qualified to make disciples all over the world. Verse 2. One's devotional service is spoiled when he becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities. 1. Eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required. 2. Over-endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. 3. Talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters. 4. Practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement. Or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically. 5. Associating with worldly-minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. And 6. Laulyam, being greedy for mundane achievements. Okay, now verse 3, the 6 favorable things. So there are 6 principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service. 1, being enthusiastic. 2, endeavoring with confidence. 3, being patient. 4, acting according to regulative principles such as Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, etc. Hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna. And 5, abandoning the association of non-devotees. 6, following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. These 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. So very helpful. Okay, verse number 4. Offering gifts in charity, accepting charitable gifts, revealing one's mind in confidence, inquiring confidentially, accepting prasadam and offering prasadam are the 6 symptoms of love shared by one devotee and another. Okay, then number 5, how to honor the 3 essential categories of devotees. Verse 5. One should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna. 2. One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation, diksha, and is engaged in worshipping the deity. And 3, one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. So this is the 3 methods of interaction, loving interaction. And then number 6, a long verse with a long translation to emphasize not to see the faults in others, especially devotees. So number 6 translation, being situated in his original Krishna conscious position, a pure devotee does not identify with the body. Such a devotee should not be seen from a materialistic point of view. Indeed, one should overlook a devotee's having a body born in a low family, a body with a bad complexion, a deformed body, or a diseased or infirm body. According to ordinary vision, such imperfections may seem prominent in the body of a devotee. But despite such seeming defects, the body of a pure devotee cannot be polluted. It is exactly like the waters of the Ganges, which sometimes during the rainy season are full of bubbles, foam, and mud. The Ganges waters do not become polluted. Those who are advanced in spiritual understanding will bathe in the Ganges without considering the condition of the water. Okay, so we had 3 verses about our behavior. Now 3 verses about the Vaishnavas. Now, the very promising verse for us about the wonder of the holy name. Okay, verse 7. The holy name, character, pastimes, and activities of Krishna are all transcendentally sweet like sugar candy. Although the tongue of one afflicted by the jaundice of avidya, ignorance, cannot taste anything sweet, it is wonderful that simply by carefully chanting these sweet names every day, a natural relish awakens within his tongue, and his disease is gradually destroyed at the root. The sweetness of the Lord and the medicine, the holy name. Okay, now verse 8, the essence of all advice. So let us hear this. Verse 8, the essence of all advice is that one should utilize one's full time, 24 hours a day, in nicely chanting and remembering the Lord's divine name, transcendental form, qualities, and eternal pastimes, thereby gradually engaging one's tongue and mind. In this way, one should reside in Braja, Goloka Vrindavan Dham, and serve Krishna under the guidance of devotees. One should follow in the footsteps of the Lord's beloved devotees who are deeply attached to his devotional service. There, the essence, that is the essence of all advice. Make our life perfect in the proper procedure. All right, now 9, 10, and 11 are all very high verses. These are the last 3 verses of Upadeśāmṛta. And they all end at the conception of Radha Kund. Now, from the very beginning, we have to treat all these verses with great caution. They are, you can say, on our head, not for us to try to imagine, but to hear about, not to think that we can understand what is Radha Kund, what are the spiritual planets, but we are being indicated what they are. And Radha Kund is not a material place. So we have to be very careful when we are on parikrama, when we visit India, about visiting these, well, every holy place, but especially about Vrindavan, Govardhan, and Radha Kund, Shyama Kund, etc. Because this is and what we are seeing is like something on the surface, but underneath there is something like extremely wonderful that only can be seen by the pure devotees. So Radha Kund, Shyama Kund, the planets, the spiritual planets are all spiritual. There's no mundane matter at all in those places. And we have to be very reverential. These next 3 verses, this Upadeśāmṛta has lots of 6s and 3s floating around. I mean, to help us to remember the content of the verses. But these 3 verses, the first is, and so 9 is giving us about gradation of places, if you like, of the holy dhams, but spiritual places, the gradation of Vaikuntha and heading upwards. And the next verse gives the gradation of the devotees, naming like the devotee categories. And then the next verse, the last verse, is giving like the acme, the very apex, the top, the highest place. So all of these three verses, we have to be very careful, keep them on our head, but we don't not read them. They're here for our indication and encouragement, and they are very wonderful verses. Remember, Mahaprabhu has given these through Rupa Goswami. So let us go through these, and we have the verses in front of us, I think. Verse 9, we'll read the Sanskrit, and then we'll read the translation. So this verse, actually, you may have heard many times, because Guru Maharaj quotes it, Gurudev quotes it, Goswami Maharaj quotes it. It's quoted regularly by those who are expert in the verses. And, but it is quoted to show the gradation, which Guru Maharaj, like very, you can say, renowned for ontology, step by step, that everything is not the same in the spiritual world, that we get a ticket to go and then, oh, it's all one. It's all one, that it is fully spiritual, but there is gradation of life, and it is all perfect, no imperfection anywhere. All right, so verse number 9, holding on our head, let us read together slowly the Sanskrit. We'll just read it all together. Okay, so verse 9, together. Vaikunthaj janito vara madhupuri tatrapi rasotsavad brindaranyam udara pani Ramanath tatrapi govardhanaha Radha kundam ihapi gokula pate premamrita plavanat kuryad asya virajato giritate sevam viveki nakaha. Now, because we can and we're together, I would like us to take it in turns to read the translation, because the others we've been reading together. So let us start with Govinda Nandini Devirasi. Please, can you read clearly and slowly and with understanding? This is the thing, the translation for verse number 9.
The holy place known as Mathura is spiritually superior to Vaikuntha, the transcendental world, because the Lord appeared there. Superior to Mathura, Puri is the transcendental forest of Vrindavan because of Krishna's Rasa Leela pastimes. And superior to the forest of Vrindavan is Govardhan Hill, for it was raised by the divine hand of Sri Krishna and was the site of his various loving pastimes. And above all, the super excellent Sri Radha Kund stands supreme, for it is overflooded with the ambrosial nectarine prema of the Lord of Gokul, Sri Krishna. Where then is that intelligent person who is unwilling to serve this divine Radha Kunda, which is situated at the foot of Govardhan Hill?
Beautiful. So, I mean, almost these verses, they are for Guru Maharaj and Gurudev to comment on. But what we can do also today is that we can read the translation as given in, say, our Upadeśāmṛta. So do you have that handy, Govinda Nandini? So can you please read that translation? And I myself want to take a quick look. Acrobat window.
I could also share it. I have it here too.
Oh, you have it there too, okay.
Yeah.
Because it is very handy on these three verses. At least we can glance at the word by word, which is very helpful.
Okay.
But in which case, both books have got something to contribute, of course.
I have it right here. Would you like me to read this translation?
Yes, please do.
Okay. Higher than Vaikuntha is Mathura, where Krishna took birth. Higher therein is Vrindavan, where Krishna enjoys the rasa dance. Higher therein is Govardhan, where Krishna plays amorously. And higher than Govardhan is Radhakund, where the nectar of Krishna's prema overflows. Would any wise soul not serve Radhakund at the base of Govardhan hill?
All right. So, I mean, they're the same translation. It's the same verse. So we have these verses, and as you will find out in both of these books, the book of Srila Prabhupada, which is called Nectar of Instruction, and the book of Srila Guru Maharaj, the compilation of Guru Maharaj, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta, and what's the name of the third person who's given the commentary? I forget. But that's contained within within that 670-page book. There's an extensive commentary to protect us and to help us to understand the gradation of spiritual life. And in Guru Maharaj's commentary, certainly in his talking, Guru Maharaj says that actually this is just like a very overall summary, because there are so many grades within Vaikuntha. And here is not even mentioned Ayodhya. Ayodhya, the place of Ramachandra's pastime, which is also its own plane, and the planes of so many different aspects of the Lord. It is jumping straight from Vaikuntha to Mathura in one jump, Guru Maharaj is saying. Like Rupa Goswami is getting right to the point, not kind of dilly-dallying along the way, if you like, coming straight to the conclusion. And when you have just 11 verses and 3 verses explaining, you know, the highest ontology at the very end of the book, then you need to get straight to the point, we can say. Okay, so really, this is making us familiar with these verses. So that verse, verse 9, is the gradation of the spiritual planets, the spiritual gradation, and of places, the planets, but I was stressing spiritual planets, places. So that's verse 9. Now verse 10 is going to be the gradation of the devotees, the mood of devotion. So let us come to verse 10. And through all of this, now I've lost my verse 10, but it is here. Okay, verse 10, we'll read together, and I think you all have together the Sanskrit. So just Govinda Nandini, please just keep a pace with posting things. I expect you already have. So this is about the gradation of the devotees, of people, the jivas, the persons, if you like. So verse 10, Sanskrit, slowly together. Karmibhya parito harehe priyataya vyakting yaju jnaninas. Tebhyo jnana vimukta bhakti parama premaika nishtastata. Tebhyastha pashupala pankaja drishashtabhyopi saradhika preshta tadvat iyam tadiya sarasitang nashrayatka kriti. All right, so maybe Rukmini Devi Rasi, would you like to read for us the translation, please? With understanding in English, and if you like, you can find the Spanish version and read the Spanish for us afterwards. That is also 200% acceptable.
In the Shastra, it is said that of all types of fruitive workers, he who is advanced in knowledge of the higher values of life is favored by the Supreme Lord Hari. Out of many such people who are advanced in knowledge, Yani, one who is practically liberated by virtue of his knowledge may take to devotional service. He is superior to the others. However, one who has actually attained prema, pure love of Krishna, is superior to him. The gopis are exalted above all the advanced devotees because they are always totally dependent upon Sri Krishna. The transcendental cowherd boy among the gopis, Srimati Radharani is the most dear to Krishna. Her Kunda, lake, is a profoundly dear to Lord Krishna, as is most beloved of the gopis. Who then will not reside at Radha Kunda and, in a spiritual body, surcharged with ecstatic devotional feelings, Aptakrita Bhava, render loving service to the divine couple, Sri Sri Radha Krishna, who perform their Astakaliya Lila, their eternal eightfold daily pastimes. Indeed, those who execute devotional service on the banks of Radha Kund are the most fortunate people in the universe.
Hare Krishna. All right, thank you very much. So we can hear now Srila Guru, our Upadeśāmṛta, and maybe Praneshwari can read this one. But Praneshwari, read as loudly or close to the microphone so we can all hear. And again, caution while hearing, while reading, etc., that this verse is a very high verse, not to have any mundane connotation behind it. So everything about this is in the spiritual plane. So again, on our head, Praneshwari Devidasi, just say a word or two first so we can hear that you're loud.
Gyanis are known to be more dear.
Okay, so now, good, we can hear you loud and clear. So you've got Guru Maharaj's or the translation in the big book.
Maharaj translation, yes.
Okay, we're all listening.
Gyanis are known to be more dear in all respects to Krishna than karmis. Devotees completely free from gyan and more dear than gyanis and devotees fixed exclusively in prema are more dear than devotees completely free from gyan. The lotus-eyed gopis are more dear than them, and Sri Radhika is even more dear than the gopis. This lake of hers is similarly dear to Krishna. Would any fortunate soul not take shelter there?
Hare Krishna. This is Radha Kund, again ending in Radha Kund, but giving the gradation from the Gyanis, starting from karmis, Gyanis, devotees who are free from knowledge, etc., etc., giving us the journey from the mundane first into the spiritual, but then in the spiritual plane, then starts the devotees who are completely free from Gyan, are more dear than Gyanis. Then those who are fixed exclusively in prema, they're eternally in the love of God, are more dear than devotees who are completely free from Gyan. And the lotus-eyed gopis, so it is jumping, big steps, coming straight to the point again. The lotus-eyed gopis means the cowherd girls of that highest plane are more dear than the devotees who are in Krishna Prema. And Sri Radhika is even more dear than the, you can say, general gopis. The lake of hers is similarly dear to Krishna. Would any fortunate soul not take their shelter there? So both translations, of course, following the same theme and helping us to understand that Radha Kund is an exceptional place, the highest aspiration in the highest plane. And in the meantime, welcome to Brajamohini Devidasi and Jai Gauranga Das. No more Janti. Janti died and Jai Gauranga appeared in this world. Welcome.
Dandavat Maharaj.
Dandavat. As you can see, we've read the translation of the whole of the Upadeśāmṛta to this point, and now we're spending just a little more time on these last 3 verses because they're very high verses. So this will make the completion of the Upadeśāmṛta this week. All right, so now we're coming to verse 11. So after we've got the gradation of the places, the gradation of the devotees and the non-devotees, the karmis, jnanis, and then onwards, upwards. Then the gradation of places, gradation of the devotees. Now we have the acme, the very conclusion of everything in this last verse of Upadeśāmṛta by Rupa Goswami. So let us read the Sanskrit, which is in the chat box there. Let us read the Sanskrit slowly together. Krishna shochai pranaya vasati prayasi byopi radha kundam chasya munibhir abitas tadrik eva vyadhayi yat preshtair apyalam asulabhang king punar bhakti bhajang tat preme dang sakrit api sarasnatu avishkaroti. All right, and this is a little shorter. And Dibya Shakti Didi, do you have it in front of you? Do you have it in your mind, in your memory? I know you have the meaning in your memory, but not the exact translation. But you have to unmute your microphone for us to hear you.
No, if you start reading it, I'll probably remember.
Okay, and then Braja Mohini Didi, do you have it in front of you? Jai Gauranga Prabhu, do you have it in front of you? Does anyone have it in front of you? Govinda Nandini has, I know. Okay, Govinda Nandini Didi, please read for us. First of all, Srila Prabhupada's translation from Nectar of Instruction. Oh, Jai Gauranga has it. Let us hear Jai Gauranga first. Yes. Jai Gauranga Prabhu, unmute your microphone. Unmute your mic.
Sorry.
So verse number 11.
Oh, sorry, Didi, I didn't mean to interrupt you if you were going to read it.
No, I was looking for someone else who did have it, so no problem. She's happy, I'm happy, you're happy. We'll be happier when we hear you read it. So verse 11, English, but Jai Gauranga Prabhu, it's not just reading, you must please read it with understanding and as much as you can and tell us, okay? Please.
I'll try. Of the many objects of favored delight and of all the loving damsels of Vrajabhumi, Srimati Radharani is certainly the most treasured object of Krishna's love, and in every respect her divine kund is described by great sages similarly dear to him. Undoubtedly, Radhakund is rarely attained even by the great devotees, therefore it is even more difficult for ordinary devotees to attain. If one simply bathes once within those holy waters, one's pure love of Krishna is fully aroused.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, wonderful. Very difficult to read that with understanding. I mean, I'm just saying it because really it's beyond our understanding. It is such a high verse. So let us hear from Govinda Nandini Devirasi. The translation is given in the big Upadeśāmṛta version. You have it, Govinda Nandini?
I do, I just had to unmute myself. Okay.
Yeah.
Sri Radha is the highest object of Sri Krishna's love, above all his other lovers. In all respects, her lake has also been established as such by the sages. This lake bestows upon those who bathe within it only once prema that is extremely difficult to attain, even for those who are dear to Krishna, let alone for practitioners of bhakti.
So all I can really say to add to this only is just the repeated caution not to think that material things are the spiritual things, but that the material things are helpful for us to dive deep into the reality of the spiritual consciousness given by Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and our guardians. So the Upadeśāmṛta, you can understand the very first verse was telling us our senses to control, our speech, our mind, our anger, our tongue, our belly, our genitals. That's the first verse. You can say this is guidance for becoming a civilized human being. And 11 verses, so 10 verses later, the 11th verse is ending up in the highest understanding, the highest indication of the topmost plane of ecstatic joy and love. So the whole of Upadeśāmṛta is a wonderful journey which we can repeatedly come back to. So in the temples, we adjust the morning program. We change the morning sadhana, if you like, bit by bit. So we are reading Upadeśāmṛta daily for maybe 2 weeks, reading the Shikshastakam daily for maybe 2 weeks, taking some particular part and trying to become familiar. So the temple is an example, if you like, for the life at home, how to make our home into a temple. And it's not that we have to do a 2-hour program, etc. Difficult to do when you're not with other devotees. But when you're with other devotees, it's easy to do. Not only is it easy to do, it's sometimes difficult to stop after 2 hours because you've got all the devotees, everything is flowing, and time to stop. These things happen. So here, together, we are going on. You see, in 1 hour, we find time goes by very fast. So you add in the morning arti, the parikrama, the obeisances, the vandana, the bhajans, then the reading. And actually here, we try to hear something regularly from Srila Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj, from Srila Guru Maharaj. Again, it depends what we're hearing, but sometimes day by day we will continue a lecture that we're hearing from them. So again, trying to give some variety to the daily program, but because there's a variety of sources for our good nourishment, if you like. And actually the audio, maybe 3 times ago, maybe a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, we played an audio of Guru Maharaj. And that audio we've been playing bit by bit each day and have now from beginning to end actually gone through that whole audio. And there's amazing things everywhere. Every lecture is the best lecture. Every book is the best book. Every verse is the best verse. Every page is the best page. So, Upadeśāmṛta. Now, okay, so now we visited Upadeśāmṛta. We've completed it successfully, Upadeśāmṛta. So this is a book again to visit and revisit. And we want to, yes, the Bhagavad Gita we come to regularly, by the way. And every day, Chaitanya Charitamrita, whatever else we do, we try to at least keep the momentum of Chaitanya Charitamrita going, even if it's only a few verses. And then Prapana Jivanamritam sometimes is our book of the moment. But this way, you see, and then you've got 365 days in a year. It sounds like a long time, but in a year, you'll be surprised that we don't get to the end of our routine things. So there's a lot of nourishment within our own garden. And as Gurudev said, You know, whatever Guru Maharaj has given, that is more than sufficient for us, not to try to go looking in other gardens. There is a shloka in English, says the other man's grass is always greener. We think, oh, over there must be something better. And I saw once a poster of cows in a field, and the cows were in the field, and where the fence was, all the cows have got their head through the fence trying to eat the grass in the next field, while behind them there's a whole field full of grass. So we do want to be like the cow in many of its mode of goodness qualities, but we don't want to be like the cow, which is, okay, the other man's grass is greener than my grass. It was a classic poster. Yes, and in the meantime, welcome Ramananda Prabhu.
Dandas Maharaj, sorry again, came late.
It's
you so much.
okay,
Nice
you come just in time for prasadam at the end of the program. You're a good Hindu.
No, I used to cook. See, I never had time for prasadam. Always take late.
You never had time for prasadam?
Yeah, used to take 3 o'clock after serving everybody.
There you are, the nature of the servitor. Serve others first and then to honor prasad oneself. All right, so on the theme of Upadeśāmṛta, perhaps because we're there today, any particular question, something which you'd like clarified, or anything, or some input, some realization? We're together, we want to have each other's version. Yes, first hand, Jai Gauranga Prabhu. Are you touching your hat or are you putting up your hand?
Dhanavats Maharaj. I was just wanting to ask, please. I've been thinking over the past few days, like, what is the best method for devotees to learn how to control their senses and to kind of keep them controlled?
Okay, no, good question. And this is the very first verse. This is the foundation. We need to be sense controlled. And that doesn't mean we're going to be yogis sitting in the top of a tree and eating once a month or something like this. But everywhere we see, and also Jagadananda's expression, if you want the grace of Mahaprabhu, you have to be sense controlled. It's not that it's not that the plan and program is only, okay, we're going to be yogis and not disturbed by the outside world. This is the beginning. Make ourselves under control. And so, okay, so some good tips. One is be with devotees as much as possible. Sadhu Sangha, always the devotees. When we're with devotees and engaged in service, always we are thinking about devotional service and the devotional stories. So good association as much as possible. And you have that opportunity there in New Zealand. You have a really sweet and sincere group of devotees there. Number two, what you eat, be prasadamtarian. And don't go, snacking and eating like Mars bars and things which they're advertised to agitate your senses. And about the senses of the gross senses of tongue, means eating, taste, all these things, belly and genitals, they're in a straight line. And Srila Prabhupada points out, if we can control the tongue, then practically our belly and our genitals come under control. But otherwise, by being in enjoying mood for our eating, then everything else also starts to want to be in enjoying mood. So Srila Gurudev also in the exact words, pretty much as you said, that if we can control our tongue through prasadam, if we can honor prasadam properly, then practically we have conquered the whole. And really Gurudev is saying, practically we have conquered the whole. So if we can stick to our prasadam-tarian life, and even if your school friends make fun of you, you can take to school a tiffin, take to school, or a plastic lunchbox, whatever you may have, cooked from home or brought from home for your lunch food, etc. Because in India, still people do that, even though India is not the example in general anymore. But still in the villages and in certain places, and we know people, they will not eat anything which is not prasadam. Their wife cooks for them at home. Your case, your mother, you're living at home. She can cook, but you can offer and take prasadam. They won't take anything from outside. So good association, prasadam. And then everything takes some effort from our side. We need to be aware we're in a dangerous place, in the sense of Maya is always trying to entice us with this, with that, through our ear, through our touch, through our sight, through our smell, through our taste, all of these things. They're being pulled in every direction. So we need to be conscious of that and not give in to these demands. And Guru Maharaj made a nice example. He said that if something is coming to attack us and we are strong and ignore that, then gradually it goes away. Then again the attack will come. Gradually it will go away. Maybe a third time the attack will come. But Guru Maharaj said very nicely, but then it will withdraw. That particular attack will withdraw, saying, oh, it is a waste of my time to go there. It's a waste of my time to go because I'm always being ousted. So we will be this way, left alone, if you like, to some degree. But never challenge Maya. I'm sorry to say, I was a witness one time to a sannyasi who was talking, giving a strong lecture to somebody, not me, but I was the lizard on the wall, witnessing everything. And he's saying, I can prove I'm liberated. And he's saying this quote from the scripture, like proving he's liberated. And I really, at that time, I thought, no, please don't be so assertive. At least say, the scripture says this, but am I actually chanting the holy name? Am I, this? And then, sadly, within a few months, maybe, that sannyasi was in an unfortunate position. And, we have to, and when I heard that, I just thought, oh no, to challenge Maya is not a good idea. We have to be always very respectful. So, humility, we know we are very small, we're subject to be bounced around. Generally, the jiva is called lagu, means light. And this is why we are coming to guru, which is fixed, means heavy, fixed. And Sri Guru in his grace, Guru Maharaj explaining these things. But we're all lagu, we can be taken. What is the news on the radio and the television? All taking us this way, that way. Why are you eating Mars bars? Why are we tempted to eat them? Because they're advertised. The advertisers know we're lagu. They spend billions of dollars. Even one company like Coca-Cola spends like $1 billion+ a year just to advertise because they know we're light. We can, Coca-Cola is best, Coca, yes, okay. Then we go to buy it. So the material world can influence us, but we need to be conscious of that. So we need to also play our part and not just think, every temptation is going to leave us. We must be ready and we must be always true to our ideal. So, good association, prasadam, and be conscious. Be conscious. And be conscious and try your best. And tolerance. We have to tolerate. It doesn't mean you're never going to want tasty things. You're never going to be wanting the urges of the tongue, belly, and genitals, of speech, of mind, and anger. But we must tolerate. Because we're human. We have a human body and a human mind. But we're being taught what to tolerate. It's part of this magic verse: humility, tolerance, giving honor to others, not wanting honor for oneself. So this is a few words from me. Anything quick from anybody? Because actually this week, look behind me, lotuses have come up. I'm actually this week in the temple itself, so I'm going to get kicked out in a minute because the day has come. And here, if I turn this around, okay, so you can see behind me, I'm on the veranda, and I was taking advantage of the lights in the temple when it was dark. And there is the temple closed, but this is the Giriraj altar. And I can't see what you're seeing, but I'll turn it around so you can see. This is the temple room. And here is the pujari. Here is the pujari coming to wake up Giriraj and start the morning program. This is Sulakshana Devi Dasi from China. And she does translation into Chinese and produced small booklets and bigger booklets, and with a team. And they made very recently the Chinese talkover for the Creation video that the Italians made. And they made very presentably the Chinese talkover. Next week I can maybe show to you all. Any quick question? The San Jose team growing, you're in the garden. Dandavat and welcome.
Nandas Maharaj, thank you so much for enlightening us, for giving nourishment, your association.
Thank you for your encouragement, Ramananda Prabhu. All right. So time is up. I'm afraid I'm not able to serve prasadam to you. Oh, but Giriraj has just opened. I'll give a second because he's just being dressed and he's been given his flute and his crown, these things. But I give my obeisance. So we'll give you a glimpse of Giriraj. And then please do try to keep Upadeśāmṛtam as your daily morning program for a few days. And also those first verses that we said when we joined, that we've each one that we've gone through word by word, to Guru, to Vaishnava, to Mahaprabhu, then back Bhagavad Bhaktita Sarvam, the one verse to put in your heart, you'll get everything. And then Kale Dosha Nide Raja. Those verses, try to keep ready for next time and ready in your heart, knowing their meanings, because we've gone through them. And then let us continue at the next program. So I'll just give you darshan of Giriraj, and then I'll have to bow out because time speeds by imperceptibly. This is one of its qualities. So maybe I'll give you now my obeisances, and then I'll take it to Giriraj. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitānaṁ pāvanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Jai Shri Gurudev ki jai, Jai Shri Guru Maharaj ki jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Brinda ki jai, and all of you good devotees there around the world, all over the world ki jai. And here's the wall behind me, or where now it's behind me, and now we're coming to. This is the main altar.
Oh, so he's kind of big. I thought he was small. He's kind of big, huh?
Giriraj. Here's Giriraj. Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhan. Giriraj, look at the devotees. He can see you all now. Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki jai. And there's actually two Giriraj Govardhans. On the right side,
3 days. So I spent like 3 days there.
Giriraj, who was in Shanghai and was in Chengdu, they call him Chinese Giriraj. In the center is Thailand Giriraj, and on the right is Chinese Giriraj.
Over here is Chinese prayers. Oh, okay.
One side is Prapana Jivanamritam in Russian.
Oh, we have to watch Abdul Maharaj's birthday celebration. It was on Sunday. And Shakti called me. And it was beautiful. Goswami gave a beautiful talk. That was on Sunday. I wanted us to do something on the beach, and I just forgot because of Jordan and everything. Die.
All right. And here's a beautiful picture of Srila Gurudev, as you know. Oh, the sun, not the sun, the light is catching. And Srila Guru Maharaj, very dear picture. And inside is Tulsi. This is Tulsi Devi Jai, Shrimati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. But outside there are many, many Tulsi.
You see how they sit in big pots in the water? You can
They
do that
don't.
here.
Yeah, you could.
Lotuses. And you can hear the bees. You can hear the bees and see the bees, and they're in these pots of water, yes. These pots here. Oh. But look at the Tulsi. This is all Tulsi down there.
Hot enough here, but you could try.
And during the summer,
Maybe.
it's so hot here. I mean, just
Yeah,
for
but
summer.
I don't know. Maybe I know they grow in
Italy.
San Francisco.
I mean,
Do they
I
grow
think
in Italy?
yeah. Remember they have that pond in Italy?
Okay.
So during the we can put it just big pots.
And this is the main Tulsi Manch is down there, but Tulsi is surrounding the area. All right, so I better do my duty here. Please, you do your duty there. Chant Hare Krishna, have Kirtan, take Prasadam. Remember Krishna 25 hours a day and do all the other good advices Rupa Goswami has given you.
Nice. We could do a quick one later.
Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai, Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Dandavat, all good devotees.
Dandas Maharaj.
Jai Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna, time to go.